ルーノさん、本日はお忙しい中お越しいただきありがとうございます。インタビューに際し、はじめに簡単に自己紹介をお願いできますでしょうか。
Hi, my name is Bruno Paulson, a portfolio manager from the International Equity team in London, the team that manages the global franchise strategy. I'm very pleased to be here in Tokyo at Mitsubishi Ufj Kokusai Asset Management's office. It's great to be back in Japan for the first time after the miserable COVID pandemic.
ブルーノさん、まずはじめにインターナショナルエクイティ運用チームの投資哲学について教えていただけますか。
One of our mantras is that there are two ways of losing money. Either the earnings go away or the multiple goes away. Our quality-obsessed investment philosophy looks to avoid both of these ways of losing money by identifying companies with robust earnings which are unlikely to go away at reasonable multiples which are less vulnerable. Our investment philosophy dates back over 25 years. We believe that companies with the ability to sustain high returns on operating capital with low volatility should compound effectively over the long term.
では具体的にどのような企業を求められているのか、より詳しく教えていただけますか。
In our view, a high quality company with powerful intangible assets, pricing power, and recurring revenues should deliver sustainably high returns on operating capital employed, high gross margins, and predictable, steady sales growth over time. These high quality companies are rare, and the quality of their management is critical. When evaluating management, we seek evidence of good capital allocation practices. The team believes that most management teams act in line with their incentives, so we seek to understand those incentives in the company's remuneration policy, and if we don't like the incentives, we push to improve them.
企業のクオリティと経営陣の質以外で着目されていることは何かありますか。
Valuation also matters. We seek to buy high quality companies below or at intrinsic value. Consequently, we use ongoing fundamental analysis based on free cash flow rather than adjusted earnings, which companies may use to mislead the market. We also believe that compounding is less likely to be successful without considering material long-term risks to a company, including environmental, social, and governance, or ESG, risks. Equally, companies able to lead the way on social environmental issues can be a positive force for corporate success if it drives consumer loyalty and/or stakeholder engagement. We manage risk first and foremost at the company level, aiming to avoid companies with diminishing long-term returns. We focus on any material absolute risks that could affect the portfolio more broadly, rather than on relative risk or tracking error, short-term macro noise, or the latest fad.
ブルーノさん、ご説明ありがとうございました。では、長期での資産運用を検討している投資家にとって高クオリティ企業への投資はどのような利点があるんでしょうか。
Equity investors are facing a challenging market environment today, and many, like ourselves, are cautious about the outlook. Our research shows that compounders have generated stable returns across market cycles. What helps compounders is that their profits are relatively robust in economic downturns. In tough times, the company's recurring revenues from repeat purchases or long-term contracts protect the top line, while pricing power protects the margins. In addition, the high gross margins limit the operational leverage, while we look to avoid companies with excessive financial leverage. These characteristics, coupled with modest top-line growth, help ensure that the intrinsic value of compounders grows steadily over time.
続いて運用チームの強みについて教えていただけますか。
We believe that our dedicated and experienced team of 14 investors provides a competitive advantage in itself. With a long-held disciplined investment philosophy, we know quality when we see it and have been successfully investing in global equities for over 25 years. The team's longevity, years of working together, culture of critical analysis, and breadth of experience across sectors inform our quality stock selection. The size of our team, combined with the concentration of our portfolios, allow for in-depth research on companies and proactive portfolio-led engagement. Indeed, we believe that engagement is one of our significant edges. We have engaged with company managements and their boards on issues material to the sustainability of returns and governance for over 20 years. As an active investment management team with our long-term mindset of managing large concentrated portfolios, we are fortunate to have excellent access to both the C-suite as well as sustainability representatives of our companies. In the crucial area of management incentives, we've created our own scoring framework, the Pay X-Ray. This has enabled us to better compare and discuss company pay plans and inform our voting approach. When looking at our proxy voting, on the 12 months to the 30th of June 2022, we voted against management on 9% of total proposals. Executive pay remained a key focus. We voted against 38% of compensation-related resolutions.
Pay X-Ray について触れられていましたが、ESG 関連のリスクや機会を測定する独自のツールもあるのでしょうか？
Yes, assessment of material ESG risks and opportunities is a fundamental and integrated part of our investment research. As an additional refinement to our process, in 2020, the team developed the Material Risk Indicator, or MRI, an ESG scoring framework designed to record portfolio managers' ESG assessments of companies in a consistent and comparable way over time. The MRI helps to identify material ESG risks and opportunities at the company level and reflect those in valuation and portfolio construction. It also enables us to identify priority areas for future engagement with company management. The MRI is designed to improve our capture of risk and opportunities for the companies we invest in. This should further enhance our ability to manage downside risk as well as increase the potential for long-term compounding.
最後に今後の市場見通しについて教えていただけますか？
Our outlook remains cautious. The market rise over the last 3 quarters, just like the market fall in the first 3 quarters of 2022, has been all about multiples, with earnings continuing to flatline and margins still close to peak levels. The world has bounced back to 17 times the next 12 months' earnings as at the end of June. This is down on the peak 20 times multiples, but higher than the multiple achieved at any point between 2003 and 2019. Now, we don't claim to know what the right multiple is, just as we don't claim to know about the path of the world economy. But it does seem clear that this is not a multiple with much pessimism built in, even before concerns that the forward earnings number used to calculate it may be too high. Forward earnings have been roughly flat over the last 18 months, with 2023 now expected to be flat before a return to the normal 10% growth in 2024. Margins are still at peak levels never seen before COVID, perhaps helped by the shortages due to the COVID disruption, and our fear is they'll naturally normalise downwards even in the absence of a slowdown. In summary, the markets look to be pricing in a high multiple on high earnings, which does look complacent. For our portfolio, both pricing power and recurring revenues are likely to become more evident and valuable in the case of any slowdown. Even if we are in an inflationary environment, pricing power, underpinned by brands, networks, or mission-critical products, should allow companies to pass on input costs to customers, and the recurring revenues, due to purchasing habits or subscription models, should protect top line in any slowdown. Lower quality companies are unlikely to be so fortunate.
ブルーノさん、本日はありがとうございました。最後に日本の投資家の皆様へメッセージをいただけますでしょうか？
Of course. The world has changed significantly in the past few decades, but our disciplined investment style, investing in superior compounders at the right price, never changes. Our goal is to achieve sustainable returns that are not impacted by short-term market environment or economic cycles by focusing on concentrated investments in high-quality companies. This compounding is fundamental to successful long-term investing as long as you have the patience for it. Thank you for being with us on this long journey.